Well, welcome to the MHS Podcast Live. My name is Guy Danhoff. We're going to be talking tonight about healthier schools and thriving students. And tonight, what we want to do is celebrate work across America. We've got a big show for you. And what we'd like to do right now is go ahead and bring on our first guest and bring on none other than Laura Beckmann. Laura, I know you've been a consultant here at Missouri Healthy Schools for years. And Lord, first and foremost, it's great having you back on the podcast. I know we've done this many times, but talk about what's going to make tonight so special as we're talking about really, looking at healthier schools, certainly through thriving students.
Well, many times or much of today, we don't really think about the effective strategies and putting those evidence-based practices in that really reduce risk behaviors in our students so that they can thrive in school. And oftentimes we're using intervention instead of prevention practices. So tonight we're really talking about how we're providing some guidance to school districts on effective system building and practices to implement that can create cultural change, and also provide students with nutrition and physical activity and health aspects that would create success in school for them.
Yeah. And so actually kind of, Laura, where we want to start with tonight, let's talk about some recent conferences. Definitely want to talk about the Missouri Coordinated School Health Coalition. Give us a little update what happened there, and also understand that there was a big award that was given out. I know you were part of that during one of your sessions. So kind of update us on what happened, certainly during the coalition conference.
Sure. So Missouri Healthy Schools is with multiple organizations statewide. They actually work together. And the Missouri Coordinated School Health Coalition's annual conference was provided in February this past year. It was called The Roots of Resilience: Growing Healthier Schools in Communities. And it brought together educators and public health professionals and community champions to come in and provide professional development and share stories. And it's built around the framework of the whole school, whole community, whole child model. I was really excited to see that our Missouri Healthy Schools team provided over 15 of the sessions out of the 31. Yes, it was so awesome. And we learned a lot, anywhere from the physical aspect to the mental, social, emotional pieces that we could provide, and professional development and training that would help us with our school systems and to help practices that would help students thrive. The next conference is always in February. It's always held at Lake of the Ozarks, February 23rd through the 25th at Lodge of the Four Seasons. And anyone can join and be a member free of the Missouri Coordinated School Health Coalition. They have a membership form. And then they have like quarterly meetings that you can engage and build a network of support around the state, right? With that, a lot of our membership has other folks that belong to the Missouri Council of Activity and Nutrition, which is another group statewide that promotes physical activity and nutrition in our schools and in our communities. And MOCAN worked with Missouri Healthy Schools and other organizations around the state to create the School Champion Award, the Missouri School Champion Award, which is one of a few awards that we already have. But we're really excited about that because it looks for champions in schools that are utilizing actions and goals that are evidence-based, that have created change, and would produce some case studies to help and serve as models for other schools within the state. The applications are open right now. They launched it at the Coordinated School Health Coalition, and they have been sort of making people aware of this award. The applications are due by May 31st, 2026. The awardees will be notified in August, and then the award presentation will be done in October at one of the quarterly meetings.
Well, that's exciting.
Very exciting. I mean, the more we can promote people, schools and champions in schools, and creating success stories and hearing the different things that they've created change by, the more we can help others to do the same thing. And it doesn't have to be big. They can be small things, but they can create huge change, right?
Yep. And Laura, what were maybe a few major themes that came out of that conference with the coalition conference?
Well, a lot of things that came from the coalition conference was that people were able to network and get around roundtables and share their stories, also share their concerns. They're able to get some people that can support them after the conference. And we've given them some training tools and things that they can take back and try to implement, and hopefully come back and learn some more, but create some change in what they're dealing with at their school or district.
Yeah. So with that, what are some upcoming conferences that people should take note of?
The Missouri Coordinated School Health Coalition comes up next February. Most SHAPE comes up in November every year, second weekend. SHAPE America is a national conference. ASHA, the American School Health Coalition Conference, is coming up this summer. So lots of those four conferences are ones that we really highlight, but we also highlight the school nurses and the school nutrition. So Missouri School Nutrition Association and the Missouri School Nurses. Counseling, the trauma right now, our director of Missouri Healthy Schools is at a child trauma conference. So all of those deal directly with a student and child's health that can directly affect them with their achievement in schools. And we want to be able to assist children to address those root causes that are creating or causing them not to reach their true success. Right.
Yeah. So with that, Laura, there's some other things that have gone on in Missouri not too long ago. So we're shifting from those conferences. Let's talk about SHAPE America. They came to Kansas City. SHAPE KC. I'm actually going to put up their logo up here in the top right. There it is right there. SHAPE KC, SHAPE KC. And what was significant
they did. That was so exciting to have them in the state of Missouri and have a lot of, have access of a lot of Missouri school folks and professionals that could attend. And I was actually, it's you can apply to be a presenter, and myself and Dr. Tom Lowry, we presented 2 sessions. We were really excited to be accepted. And I know you presented, and we'll have a guest later that presented. So it was nice to see a lot of our Missouri folks, up there presenting.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we'll get into what you and Tom talked about, because there was some significance with it. But I actually want to kick things off a little different. I want to bring on right now actually a MoShape Teacher of the Year for Physical Education Elementary, and he also won a national award. So let's bring on Drew Burris. Drew, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. Yourself?
Really good. We're so glad that you're here, Drew. You know what? That I've been covering coming out to your school for a few years, certainly on Field Day. Your local news has recognized you as Mr. Field Day.
Right.
And you also won a pretty big award, and I'm going to put that on the screen for everyone. But you also won a SHAPE America National Award called the Champion of Joy Award winner. Can you tell our viewers what the Champion of Joy Award is?
If I was to break it down, is an easy way to put it, it would be bringing joy to your job almost, and you share the joy that you have with your students, you make your job fun. My motto is, you're never going to teach a day in your life if you have fun and you love what you do.
Right.
So that's kind of how I felt. I felt like I've put enough time in and service for this profession, and I was awarded with the Joy of Effort. So it was a big accomplishment in my career.
Yeah. And with that, Drew, you also did some sessions. Talk
Yep.
to us about a few of your sessions. I know I was there. I filmed some of it.
Uh-huh.
And tell us about, your sessions. They were very, very well attended, as they have been for recent years that you've been now presenting at the national level. And talk to us a little bit about that.
We did Game Over, Enter the PE Arcade. So I took some of my field day stations and we did those activities with students. I gave away Tim McGraw tickets to a teacher because that was the kickoff of our field day countdown. And I was gone and I felt bad. So I sent out a video early that morning telling the teachers, I'm sorry I'm not there to give out something for the kickoff of the countdown. But I was like, but wait, I still can. I said,
wow.
I will send a video out to you for a Zoom call during my session. So the first 5 minutes was basically her going just hysterical because she was the one picking out all the teachers. And when I told the crowd, this is why they call me Mr. Field Day, of all the stuff that I do. We the things we do, other schools don't. And I said, we're going to give away concert tickets like now. And I told them who it was, and they all went crazy. And the teacher went ballistic. She was trying to keep control with her students in the classroom still. And it was good. And a lot of people came out. We did it was 80s arcade games, turned them into simple PE activities.
Yeah.
Packed house. And then the Saturday session, which I thought probably not many would be there because everybody would be going home. We had a pretty good turnout for that one. I was very pleased with that one as well for Phys Ed Island. So great time. And it was in the backyard. So it was fun.
Drew, what was it like, though, tell us a little bit more what you experienced with it being in Missouri, though. Because from where your school is, would you say it took you, 10 minutes to get there?
Well, we live about 30 minutes away from the convention. So see, I'll fly, but I like to drive everywhere I go because I like to see the sights and sounds. And they said it was in Kansas City, last year. And I was like, I'm 25. This is going to be the shortest drive I'm ever going to make. So I still did get a hotel because of all the wardrobe changes and socializing and everything. But I was very ecstatic that it was just down the highway. So worked out.
Well, Drew, all I can say is, I've been coming to your sessions for many years now. And I got to tell you, when you dress up in your Super Mario for this particular presentation, Drew Burris is in the house. But you know what? What is so great to see is other physical education teachers around the country starting to adopt some of the things that you're doing in your classes.
Yeah. So the funny thing about the Mario outfit was I was trying to make good time and I had a lot of stuff to wheel over and somebody was in front of me and I only had 15 minutes. So I'm starting to get everything out and putting the costume on and some random guy was just walking down the hallway. And I was like, hey man, I'm going to ask you a weird question. Can you zip me up back here? And he goes, yeah, no problem. And he did. And he goes, I wanted to let you know I'm a big fan. I go, great. This makes it not awkward at all then. So he knew who I was, So it was, you got to pull out all the stuff. It's national convention, baby. You got to go big or go home. So.
Well, you certainly did, Drew. Like I said, it's just great to see you on the national scene. You've been doing this for quite some time now. As obviously, what you've done in MoShape. You've just been such a great ambassador. And it's also great to see your community involvement. I think that's probably the most impressive thing that we see you do is the way you're working with the media and the people that you're getting to come out and support on your field days is insane. Why don't you let our viewers know just some of the people that you have supporting your field days? Because it's pretty darn extraordinary, if you ask me.
We've had celebrities send in videos. We did a Ghostbusters theme one year. Ernie Hudson sent in the video. We did the game over kind of the session I did for at Shape America. Leah Thompson, who was a massive 80s star, sent the video in. We did a books theme field day. We had a popular child's author send a video to us wishing them a happy field day. I've got parents that ask me in August, when is field day, so they can ask off for work to make sure that they're there. to participate with their kids. I mean, like, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And it just keeps growing. And it's something you want to keep getting bigger. And this year it's another big year. We've got, I mean, I'm nonstop with my clipboard every night, looking at stuff, putting stuff together, getting stuff created, you know, ads, video, just all kinds of stuff. And I love every single second of it too. So, it was it's different. We are big time different. And that's what I always tell the news stations every year.
Right.
You need to get out here and see this and because you want kids having fun in an educational setting. Get down the field day in Warrensburg, because this is where you're going to find it.
Yeah. And Drew, just really quickly, tell us, does it involve like literally your whole school? Like the field day, you've got teachers. Yeah. Explain to our audience how that works. Because every time I go there, I just cannot believe it's like all these people, all these teachers, even staff are supporting this event that you put on.
It's like our Super Bowl, in all honesty. It's Dr. Deutsch would love. It's like our WrestleMania. It's our biggest event almost of the year. We've got over 400 kids from preschool through second grade that come out for this. They're split into different times. Preschool and kindergarten come out in the mornings, first and second in the afternoon. We've got parents that come out. They take the day off work. We got teachers in the district that want their kids to come back to our school for the field day. We've got our local firefighters that bring their truck over at the end of a session to hose the kids off because they're so muddy. They love every second of it. I don't even know. We got businesses around the city that give us donations to give out to students for prizes like gift cards to restaurants and all kinds of different things. I mean, I wish I could make this all up, but I can't. It's just my opinion on all this is that I've got kids that will probably never see this. You know, it's tough wherever they're at, and when they come to school, it's a whole different ballgame. So my job is to make field day like Disney World for them. And when you see, and I know you've seen it before, even when talking to some of the kids, when they leave after that day, they want to do it again. And I know I've had parents tell me, you know, thank you for everything that you do. They want summer to go by fast, so they're back in school. So then when May comes back around, there's another field day for them to attend. Because I mean, you know, it's all for the kids. My day is, that whole weekend is just, it's crammed in, and I don't care if I don't sleep or eat. You know, it's for the kids, seeing the looks on their faces when they come out those doors, and it's game on. So.
Well, Drew, I just want to say congratulations again on certainly being the Shape America Joy of Effort Award winner. I know you're one of two of the people that won it this year, but Drew, I really, again, we just can't say enough about what you do for us in Missouri and the shining light that you are, and all the attention that you are literally bringing to our profession, but most importantly to those kids. And you're exactly right. You're one of the most selfless people I've ever met in my entire life. I can say that because I've been filming you for close to 7 years now. And it's just really amazing how you get the community engagement and involvement every single year. And somehow it just seems it keeps getting better and better and better every year.
That's probably my fault, but you know, I love it. So.
Laura,
anything you want to say to Mr. Burris?
Well, I just say congratulations to Drew, and keep doing what you're doing. And, you know, that community support is so important. And students having, you know, being engaged in physical activity and loving it is really what we're trying to do. Promote that active outside, you know, emotional connection, social connection, and just having fun, but being physically active and healthy.
Yeah.
So thank you, Drew.
Yep.
Thank you, Drew. And can't wait to see you next field day. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Oh, Lord. Come on, Drew Burris. Are you kidding me?
I know. He's great, isn't he? I mean, he's just really great. And there's just so many Missouri teachers that, you know, are just dynamic in what they do. They're top notch, and they're just not recognized as much as they could be or should be.
Yeah.
And that whole Missouri School Champion Award is part of that, along with the awards for your, your professional organization. So to be a member of MoShape and then be recognized by the national shape is awesome. And we want more and more. If every teacher could be that passionate about what they do,
Yeah. So,
awesome.
so Laura, there's a few more announcements we just have to talk about, about Shape Kansas City. And let's talk about their new president. Their new president-elect was announced, and it's right from here, MoShape. So our president-elect for Shape America nationally is Terry Garner. Of course, you and I both know her really well, especially her extremely well. But Terry,
yes.
I mean, she's the former president of MoShape. She's the past president of Shape America's Central District. And I know that she's, does a lot with her business with the outdoors, and all the things that she does in that, because she travels around the country with that. Is there anything you want to say to your good friend who may be watching or maybe see the replay? What do you want to say to Terry Garner as the new president of Shape America?
We are so happy to be represented by Terrell Garner. She is amazing. Yeah. Her leadership skills, her involvement with different school systems across the country, because she is in a global outdoor adventure type, program, and she goes into schools and trains teachers constantly. She's representing, Central District and the board of directors, and now she's the president from Kansas City, Missouri. Yay. And we haven't had a president. I don't think that there has been a president for Shape America from Missouri for like over 50 years.
Wow.
So that is very impressive that, but, and you get voted in. So she has that reputation. She's already thinking about their strategic plan. And already looking at ways to, increase membership, but also to, look at ways that we can build more networks and support in creating healthier students, but also quality physical education and health programs nationwide. So very exciting.
Yeah. Terry, we love you, girl. You know that. It was just so exciting when I found out, because I was actually the first person to interview her after she found out. And that's been kind of a tradition that I do, is I've been working media for Shape America since 2019. And it's always fun to be able to get that one-on-one interview with the president-elect. So, and then, of course, it being Terry.
Yeah, and I saw it.
I know, right? I mean,
yeah.
Terry's she's the best. So congratulations again, Terry. All right, you talked about the strategic plan. Let's talk about that, because Shape America, their CEO, Stephanie Morris, I mean, she kind of started the opening general session in talking about the new strategic plan. I was wondering, Laura, if you could maybe take a few high points that they talked about, and I'll also add my thoughts into that. But I think it's really exciting that Shape America has taken the time to update, if you would, their strategic plan.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one that shouted out to me, obviously you want to get as many health and PE teachers involved in your national organization as possible because of the training, the networking, the support system, the resources that they have is unbelievable. But one of the other things was really working with public health, and really making connections with other organizations that are public health. I know that they're very focused on, quality programming, and, they just launched the new health and physical education standards that many districts or, states are actually utilizing for their districts and schools to align to. But I think the biggest thing is they also have really focused on building leaders and administrators around health and wellness. And so they have a leadership group that they launched a few years ago, and we've had several school administrators involved in that. In fact, couple of our Missouri folks are highlighted for standards development,
Yep.
and Ashley Krause for school wellness cultures and initiatives, So we're, that, but I think the more alignment we can have with showing that with public
Yeah.
health, we are a priority, and we are a component that can really create or reverse some of the trends that we have with chronic disease in our children, So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about the strategic plan.
Well, I am too. And also they talked about accessibility. They also talked about the language that they're going to use, using so much consistency, keeping that updated, keeping it fresh. And then, like you said, they're pouring into leadership like never before. There are partnerships like never before. It's just so exciting to see the passion of, Shape America. It starts with Stephanie Morris, their CEO, but I mean, just throughout the entire organization, that senior leadership team. I mean, I've never seen them more on fire than they are right now.
Yeah. And I mean, Stephanie Morris, I can't say anything. I mean, she's just great. Yeah. She's phenomenal. And they've got a great central district team, or just team board of directors working together, meeting together. I really think that moving the strategic plan will help to move the needle even farther and better.
And another partnership I do want to highlight, I was there being able to videotape some of it as well, but they're also doing a partnership, with the NFL, and it's for flag football. And so they had a pre-convention session. I think it was like 4 hours. But I was amazed. I think they had over 50 or 60 physical education teachers, and they're basically teaching like the terminology that the NFL would use. As you know, that there's such a big push for flag football. I can tell you this right now, at our school where I teach at, they're going to have women's flag football as a varsity sport starting next spring. So it's already coming out. But what I think is cool for the PE world is the fact that they're teaching those skill sets. Like I was watching them, teaching them how to, they call it for wide receivers, they call it the receiver tree. So there's 8 different routes, and they're showing our physical education teachers how to run all 8 routes. It was so cool to see. And again, I cannot thank, enough of what Stephanie and that team's doing, of being right in step and not just looking at it from, okay, here's the college level, but they're talking about elementary, junior high, as well as high school. And they're bringing in that curriculum just to create more opportunities and more physical activity, for our kids. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, and there cannot be, there just has to be just a lot more diversity in our programs. And so that's just another, way to support some of the activities that are introduced, and even after school activities to feel confident and be able to participate in after school opportunities. Yeah. So
Laura, with that kind of shifting gears, let's talk about the sessions that you and Dr. Lowry did together. I know you had 2 of them. Talk to us a little bit about that, because, I was obviously was able to film actually one of them in its entirety, which we'll be actually putting on YouTube very shortly. But talk to us about your sessions and why it's so important that we don't forget about the data collection, because I'll tell you what, listening to you and Tom really get into the data that you've collected over decades and why that's so invaluable, certainly for administrators today moving forward.
Well, one of the things, oftentimes because of testing, standardized testing, and the academic, priorities, we forget what the health needs of our children need in order to thrive, right? And so we forget the aspects of health that we really need to address so that children can perform at their best levels. And So Dr. Lowry and I, over many years,
Yep.
I was a coordinator in three large districts, and we had the opportunity of getting a lot of grants. And Dr. Lowry was always my side person that would work with me and develop systems of collecting data. Because one of the big things is to advocate for healthy kids, right? And how do you advocate if you can't show that your program is creating change,
Correct.
making a difference, and is effective, right?
Yep.
How do you show that your program is quality program? And
Yeah.
we often teach what we call as a clickable curriculum instead of really looking at a sequential curriculum and looking at public health type data, or
Right.
whether it be quality or quantitative data, it's still data to show that you're creating change. And even for that, not only just as teachers using data for better practice, to be a better professional, have a better program, but also to see if you're creating change in your students' health. And I mean, we have so many different things, data points that show that students who are, healthier and meet all fitness levels meet the attendance. They're higher in their attendance rates. They're
Yep.
higher in their academic performance on English and math. We also saw a huge connection between aerobic capacity and core strength. And the levels of the academic achievement were much higher than flexibility or upper body strength. We looked at blood pressures. If we have a quality program in a high school and we look at blood pressures of students, what's the impact that it has, daily physical activity, aerobic, meeting those requirements for healthy people. And by the end of the semester, they were all within the healthy blood pressure range. And this was 17 students who were not healthy at all. They weren't meeting the healthy blood
Right.
pressure range. So utilizing this data and showing that what you do matters,
Yep.
and that health of children matters in all aspects, socially, mentally, emotionally, emotionally regulating, utilizing exercise, nutrition, just a healthy climate that can help students regulate for and be able to learn better. So most often we're practitioners, and we really need to have our practitioners be more looking at some as a research or as well. Like, look at your practice not only as a practitioner, but as a researcher too. Because the more research that you have to show that you're creating and making a difference in students' health or in your program or in the quality of what you're doing as a professional, the better off we are in helping our kids.
So
and to be
agreed.
healthy adults as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be my main thing, is
Yeah.
to get practitioners to look more at case studies of what they're doing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And like I said, it was just great to hear again just how much data you've collected through the years. But really, it was also the conversations you'd hear after your sessions for people who are in those roles today, and just that exchange of information of how they can kind of continue some of the work that you and Dr. Lowry did, which I also thought was very, very exciting. To see those collaborations and ideas being generated.
Yes, and through Missouri Healthy Schools, being in this team, it's really nice because we get to work with a lot of school districts, and especially across the state of Missouri, and to, look at the success stories of the Healthy Schools movement and show them what other school districts are doing and using it as a model.
Yeah.
And then they take it and they see the same outcomes.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it creates, more movement, success for all the stakeholders within that school community.
Right. Well, I know that you and Tom, again, I can't wait till we get the chance to go ahead and put one of the sessions out that you guys presented, because I know I filmed it. And also, Laura, on my side, it was a really interesting year because, as you know, I always talk on the impact of social media on mental health. And I also look at the impact that AI is having on social media. So those are two big topics. And as you know, I've been presenting on those topics for multiple years now. And what was interesting is Shape America had 400 sessions, but 19 of them were related to AI. Think about that for a second. 19 sessions related to AI. Now, a lot of them were related to obviously how you can use it for teaching in your curriculum, if you're a teacher or even an administrator. And then, of course, I kind of got into the weeds to talk about the impact of how, AI is changing social media and, different ways you can use it that way. But the one that really is the one that people keep coming back on, that's the impact that social media is having on mental health. And just, again, how rampant it is and still, what a big problem it is. So it's just, it's just, one of those topics that I will always continue to advocate for. But we had a really good roundtable session, that I think it was on Friday presented, but it's still a topic that, we're always going to support here at Missouri Healthy Schools, because we know the impact that it's having on our young people.
Absolutely. It's funny. Yeah. As you're mentioning that, we have our state school nurses who they collect data from our students in our public schools. And our most recent report, 24-25, talking about mental health, in 24-25, 501 out of 588 public schools districts participated. We had 98% of our student population shown in this most recent report. And when you look at, I asked, our state school nurse consultants to, forward me 5 years ago, what has happened since then. And in 2019, anxiety was 17,570 kids. And in 24-25, 30,944.
Right.
It's almost doubled in anxiety. And in ADHD, it's increased by 18 to 19,000.
Yeah.
Even seizure disorders, allergies, asthma stayed relatively the same, but it's still the number one problem why kids miss school. Right.
Wow.
So it's very telling when you talk about mental health, this data that we get from our state school nurses.
Right.
And I appreciate the data because it really shows that we really do need to put more prevention and address those needs of our kids and not wait till it gets, and not just intervene when needed. But we need to start really thinking about prevention.
Well, absolutely. And that was a big theme of what we talked about in my session. Again, in the roundtables, we were all given those ideas together. But that was kind of the consensus of, the thing that alarmed us the most is that 13% are considered to have an addiction with social media. And all that comes with that. And one of the things we did talk about that moved the needle was just kind of doing a detox. If you even took just 1 week off, the numbers and the research and what it's showing, the impact that it's having on, on our young people, it is making a difference. But to your point, it's got to be done on the preventative side.
It really does. Yeah. And Bayless School District, I like to put a shout out to them because they are, they've sort of began to collect data. And they build in a lot more after school clubs to build those connections with students and not be on social media, but be active in networking socially in person. And they collect panorama data, which is around SEL data, right, on their students. And it has shown a direct, correlation between a student's SEL, the effects of them, like their emotions,
correct,
and their after school club opportunities.
Wow.
So again, we know that that's out there, but to have the data to show the correlations is so important.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, the last big nugget, if you would, that came out of, granted, there's a lot more, but the ones that spoke to me the most, that I thought had a big impact, and that is Shape America, basically introduced their Physical Best. And it's a program equips physical educators to teach and assess the health-related fitness using standards-based activities that complement any PE curriculum. It's long considered the gold standard for teaching fitness education in PE. Physical Best is being used in schools and is being taught even at undergraduate programs nationwide. And the thing that, again, I think was the coolest thing for me was by emphasizing personal goal setting and growth. Physical Best empowers all students to achieve their own individual physical best and build a strong foundation for a lifelong physical activity. And that was, again, the big thing. And you guys can find this online. I'm going to give you guys the link right here. And basically the link includes all the info, including the book. It also comes with an exam. It also has workshops and a study guide for the exam, but it's a great resource to consider and look at. And again, I got the website up there for you, but that was another really big thing that I saw that came out of the Shape America Shape KC conference. So if you guys
I have to
check that out. Yeah.
It's funny you brought that up, because that the Physical Best has always been one of Tom and I's favorite tools and resources to use in our healthy and active living curriculum. So we utilized a lot of those resources in our health and active living curriculum, 3rd through 9th grade, in which we increased physical activity levels by like 4.something%. I want to say 4.9% in 1 year.
Wow.
So it is very individualized, which makes it, that's what you want. That's what you want. So I'm glad that they've updated it and put out a new updated version.
Yeah, I know Dr. Green. Yeah, Dr. Greenberg's part of that. She's been doing that book for quite some time, and also Shape America's past president now. Of course, he was president at the time, but also Dr. Joe Deutsch also was a co-author on that book. So it's just great to see the resources being poured into this program. But to your point, it's all about them setting their own goals and taking ownership of it and seeing their progress, because that's what is going to sustain lifelong learning. So it's really cool. So it's really cool to see all these new resources come out. And again, I want to say, congratulations to Dr. Greenberg, and certainly to Dr. Joe Deutsch for, again, co-authoring this, initiative together, the book. And then, of course, with Shape America's help, having all these resources packaged together. So it's pretty cool. So with that, Laura, I am now kind of done with, except for one last thing. And you're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about the LWP. Talk to us about what that's all about, because I'm going to transition now to that.
Well, we're going to have, the DESE Food Nutrition Services, Aline, come on, and she's phenomenal. And the local wellness policy, we have, every state has that in place, and she's going to go into detail about what she's doing as the administrator overseeing the state of Missouri. But basically, we had no guidance for our schools. And a few years ago, we said we have to provide better guidance for our schools so that they can implement the local wellness policy in an actionable way, just like we do academics. We need to give them some evidence-based assessments, and we need to really provide some resources and PD and training so that we can make them be successful. But also really be actionable, action-based, because most often we see them either not in compliance or it's sitting on the shelf and there's not really a whole lot going on with it. And the importance of it is that a lot of times it aligns with the mission and vision of health-related goals that districts and schools are already focusing on, but they're operating in silos rather than aligning their work. So yes, we have a wonderful presentation that Aline's going to kick off for us.
All right, let's bring her on. Let's get her out of there. She is Aline Bishazi. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay. So welcome to the podcast, and we're so excited to have you. And this is a great topic. So what I'm going to do for you is I'll bring your slides up and then we'll move us to the side and I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much. We are going to start by really looking about what is LWP, what is local wellness policy.
Yep.
Because some of our audience, we might just be sitting there thinking exactly like, what is this? Local wellness policy is a federal requirement under the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010. It's a requirement for all school districts who participate in the national school lunch or breakfast. So pretty much all the national school that, participate in school lunch or breakfast, you have to have that local wellness policy in place.
Okay.
Establish a school environment that promotes student health, well-being, and healthy learning. If a child is healthy, we all know that they are going to perform well as well in school.
All right. Bring your next slide.
We are going to also look at the purpose of really local wellness policy. Promotes life wellness through nutrition, education, and physical activity. Encourage students to model wellness through physical activity. Provide accountability and transparency in supporting student well-being. This slide here shows a local wellness policy checklist. This checklist, it really does go deep into showing what you need to have as a school district to be compliant with USDA and DESE as well. So we usually monitor this by coming to an administration review that most of school districts are aware of. And when we come, we want to exactly see what's on this school, on this checklist. If this checklist is all marked, then your school is compliant with the state and USDA. If not, then that's when we really go into deep, how can we help? And pretty much my position is to go in to work with school individually to make sure that they are prepared, to make sure that they have that local wellness policy in place. It doesn't hurt if you don't have it in place, but we really need to come out and say, like, we need to start from scratch. And then we go in and start from scratch into implementing it. And also, there's also other rules that we are going to talk about pretty soon on what does that local wellness policy comes with in order to be compliant. So it's not just a policy in place that doesn't have other requirements. There's other requirements that needs to be there to be compliant.
Okay.
The first requirement is a well set. This well set, it's really your school district going in and creating an access for your school district. The good thing about this well set, so if your school district has an account, you will really go ahead and save all the other results that you did in previous years. So you can even go back and look, how was last 3 years, how did we do? And you can see
Right.
the growth of your school. So the first thing that the school does is to complete this well set. It's really going in and create an account and putting that local wellness policy in place. And it's really just going to give you scores. And those scores are the ones that will help you in completing another form that's on the next slide.
Okay.
If we can go on that slide, please, which we call the local wellness policy triennial assessment summary. If you haven't completed that triennial assessment and the well set, you are not going to be able to complete this form because you skip one step. And this form, it's really required every 3 years. I have school that will call me and say, okay, we have our committee in place, but we are really not going to be waiting for until the end of those 3 years, because it's just gonna go under the water and no one will know this exists. But we'll do it every time we meet with our committee to make sure that this form is filled. And also this form, it's also public. It's also posted public for parents and other stakeholders to view what's really going in school. You might say, oh, well, we have PE, we do all this activity, nutrition, but really if you're not putting it into that paper, we are not going to know. We'll say that did not happen. But we really want you to go in and show us, what do you really do in your school? So make sure that you really put it all those good things in here. In DESE FNS, what we really provide training, guidance, and technical assistance to all school districts. And then we monitor the review. We really monitor to see if schools are in compliance, and we do that by doing an administration review that we do, and we really look into triennial assessment. Do you have that local wellness policy? Is it posted? Do you have that triennial assessment summary? Is it posted? So those two documents have to be done and posted publicly. We have school that will post it into their website for public to review. That's a green light. Like, show us that you posted it,
Right.
and the parents knows that these things are being done in your school.
Okay.
Aline is so wonderful. I love working with her. She's so good. So, like she talked about the local wellness checklist and the summary sheet that's aligned to it, she really monitors that. And, every 3 years, a third of the school districts in the state of Missouri are through the triennial assessment process. What she spoke to with the WellSat was the district level assessment that really assesses how district wellness policies compare to model wellness policies. And the state of Missouri has endorsed policies and procedure documents that our public schools can adopt. And they specifically mentioned these assessments in there on the checklist, on the policy, and also in the summary report. The school level assessment really measures, each school under the LEA jurisdiction,
Right.
and it includes each school in the LEA to customize that policy at the school level, because we know that in a school district, they have several schools, many of them, and they all have different school communities with different needs. So
Yep.
they are able to identify those needs and strengthen them. And the School Health Index and the Alliance for Healthier Generation School Assessment is an assessment that is aligned to the WISC, the Whole School, Whole Community, Whole Child framework. And it enables schools to identify strengths. They're not graded on it or anything, but they need to be transparent with the evidence-based policies and practices that they have in place at this point, and then create some action plans and set goals that they can put into their local wellness policy.
Very cool. And they're
And as
right on cue. I was going to say, right on cue. There's your WISC model.
Yeah, the WISC model, it's a student-centered approach. It has to foster collaboration among all stakeholders. And when you look at the checklist, it identifies those stakeholders. And within the WISC model, there's 10 components.
Right.
6 of those components are really evidence-based, like they have provided evidence that show that they can address students' academic achievement and health needs. And then 4 of them are cross-cutting, and they need to be in place for that support. But they really, the WISC model emphasizes the, connection to utilizing community, the community and their resources. And then also by coordinating all those components and working with the community, we're able to address the students' Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which
Right.
if they're healthy and they feel safe, they're able to, be challenged, and they're supported and engaged in their learning. And so what we use this model for too is when districts already have like certain teams in place, look at who's not represented in this area and how can you sustain a systems framework, utilize this framework so that it continues whether people are coming or going.
Okay.
And the same thing with wellness policy. If you want to make it count, there are steps, and the WISC framework and local wellness policy really engaging the same steps. You want administrative support and leadership. You want to assemble a district and school team that is comprehensive and multidisciplinary. You want to assess and plan. So use those evidence-based assessments that are endorsed by the state of Missouri. You want to communicate and disseminate the results and the goals and the actions to your community and get those resources within your community to support you. You want to meet at least 4 times a year and implement and track progress, just like we would do our academics, and then celebrate. So we have to have teams that are active and have a continuous improvement approach in health, just as we do academics, if we're really going to address those needs, and align our efforts with our vision and our mission of district and school comprehensive school improvement plans.
And there's your reflect and celebrate.
As far as yes, Missouri has so many things that districts and even nationally, districts can take their efforts and apply. So we have the Missouri Worksite Wellness Award, what we just talked about earlier, the School Champion Award by MOCAN. Show Me Green Schools has 3 pillars, and a lot of it deals with the priorities that Missouri Healthy Schools has, which is nutrition and physical activity, and what Aline has with her wellness policy efforts. MoShape has the Administrator of Year Award and an Advocacy Award, which is centered around, administrator support and advocacy for healthy living. And then, of course, the Alliance for Healthier Generation. And when they utilize the assessments that we have in place and build strong plans and utilize that WISC approach, they really create change, and then they can apply for all these wonderful awards and be recognized.
Yeah. Wow. And
next is, there's tons of resources that are out there. And I know Aline's got tons of resources as the contact person on her website. So there's links to all of these. Some of these are even Missouri made, like the School Health Advisory Council Guide, which is used by other states as well. And the Centers for Disease Control in the United States Department of Agriculture. But Aline can share her contact information in the next slide and all of the wonderful things resources that she has. Missouri Healthy Schools also has tons of success stories. So going on the website, showing all the success stories that we've had, the districts.
Wow. So Aline, anything else you want to add?
Yes, the next slide, there will be my contact information
Okay.
on the DESE website. There's really also like really good training on local wellness policy that goes into deep. We really went overall for this podcast, but
Yeah.
on this website, you really find good trainings that will be helpful. And there is also my contact. There is my email and my phone number. I'm available anytime.
Well, this is wonderful. Again, the thing that we love about Missouri Healthy Schools, and that's our resources. And also that's, Aline, with what you do in helping schools navigate this process, which is so invaluable, especially when you look at all those wellness policy resources that are available, and also the training that you talked about, and just even how to get started in this process.
Mm.
So just thank you for all your work, because there's a lot that's obviously here. And I know, Laura, you've been part of this process for many years on multiple levels, but it's just great to see the support that DESE still, provides in this area.
Yeah, we love the interagency report, support and partnerships that we have with Missouri Healthy Schools and the DESE Food Nutrition services. And then we also have, of course, our partners with the Missouri Health and Senior Services, with, our nutrition and physical activity and chronic disease prevention with our school nurses. All of this is so important. And then DESE's, mental health counseling. So the interagency partnerships, the partnerships across the state with the Missouri Coordinated School Health Coalition and MOCAN, and MOSHAPE. It's wonderful to have all of these partners together trying to support, healthy schools and healthy students.
Yeah. So, Aline, I'm going to give you the final word, then I'll go to Laura, then I'll give my final thoughts as we wrap up our podcast. So we'll start with you, Aline.
Yeah, just wanted to say thank you so much for all our attendees. We really appreciate you. And we know how much you do for our schools. We know you have a lot of things, but we really appreciate you taking care of the kids in our state and also making sure that they're healthy. That's the goal.
Absolutely. Laura, final word?
I couldn't agree with Aline more. That's what we want. And we're here to help. We are here to help. So, any support that you need, please reach out to Aline, or you can contact Missouri Healthy Schools on the website.
Yep, right there.
And sign up. There's a place where you can get your questions addressed, send some questions, and then we'll get you in touch with the right person.
Absolutely. And I just want to also let everyone know, you can also go to the Missouri Healthy Schools YouTube channel. That's where we have, if you click on live, you can see all our previous podcasts, but you can also see, we call it On the Move, if you want to see some of those case studies done in school districts, where we go in with our cameras and we spend some time interviewing not just the administrators, the teachers, but sometimes even the students. There's a lot of stories we've been telling over the past 5-6 years that you can also check out as resources. And so we've got a whole plethora of things that you can look at, but the Missouri Healthy Schools YouTube channel is one great reference you can use. And of course, as Laura already said, you can also go to our website, which I tell you what, it's the most robust, resource heavy I've ever seen. It's really amazing how many resources that we have all right there here for the Missouri Healthy, Schools, our website. So with that, I want to thank our guests and our panelists for being on. Aline, welcome to your first podcast with us. This is exciting. I know you'll be on many, many more, but this is fun having you. Laura, what can I say? We've been doing this for about 8 years now, and it's just great to see you always. I think it's so funny whenever I ever hear you tell someone, "Oh, I'm retired." Wow. If you're retired, then what are you doing on the screen, right?
I can't retire. I just love to work. I love this work, and I love the people to work with.
Yep.
And you know, we're all passionate about the same thing, and it's great to be a part of a team and be together toward helping our children, right? So I love being on here, Guy. You know that.
I know that. I mean, and like I said, I tell people this all the time. You know, I used to do this in sports all the time. Well, I still kind of do. But there's a difference between doing it in sports and doing it for this advocacy. And I say this all the time. As much as I love working with sports, including like at the level of the NFL and the NFL Combine, so I get to do that every year for the last 8 years. But there is nothing like what we do here at Missouri Healthy Schools, because it's all about the students. It's about our teachers. It's about our administrators. We are just trying to make, you know, everyone's lives healthier and more productive, and so that, you know, we can grow people up and give them that, like we learned about the physical best that Ship America's doing, right? Is that we're trying to get people to be able to, you know, have lifelong learning at the center of this. And that's a lot of what the WISC model does help with, as we know. So I thought tonight was a lot of fun. I know we'll get this replay out. And if you guys ever have questions, by all means, please direct it to us. We're always here to help you. This is our big role, what we do. And so for Laura Beckmann, and as well as with Aline, my name is Guy Danhoff. We want to thank you for watching the Missouri Healthy Schools podcast live right here. We'll see you on our next podcast soon. Thank you and good night.